So you want to know how to carry your baby. The answer is, it depends. And this is probably the question I get asked the most on this channel is like, what should I get to carry my baby? What kind of gear do I need? And it really depends on where you're at in the baby stage as far as what I recommend. So this is part 2 of a 4-part series. If you want to see the other ones, I'll link the playlist above here. But in this video, we're talking about the Ergobaby style carrier and when that might be appropriate and what the pros and cons are. So let's dive in. All right, so this is the Ergobaby. It's similar to Baby Bjorn or something like that. We just call it the Ergo. And this gives us a lot more support and can transfer a lot of the weight into the hips when you're carrying your baby. It can support between 12 to 45 pounds, but you have to have an infant insert with it to be able to carry a baby under 17 pounds. So if you're below 17 pounds, I probably would just stick to the wrap carrier, which I made another video on. I'll link that in the card above if you want to watch that. So I've seen the Ergo listed anywhere between $115 and $145 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below so you can go check out what the price is currently. I'll also link the infant carrier that I mentioned, but like I said, I would recommend saving money on the infant carrier and just getting the wrap instead. They're comparably priced. I think you even save a little bit of money. I'll put the wrap in the description below as well so you can compare. But I would definitely recommend using the wrap when they're that much smaller and spend your money on that rather than purchasing the infant insert for the Ergo. If your baby's in that size range and you're gonna be going for any kind of long distance, this is definitely a great option to carry your baby in because it's going to be a lot more comfortable to carry heavier weight for longer. This carrier is typically worn on the front, but if you want, it can be worn on the back as a backpack as well, which makes it a little bit more ergonomical with the shoulders, but it's a little bit harder to get the baby in on the back. So it kind of makes sense more if you have 2 people to help get the baby in, or if you're going to be hiking for quite a while, then you might want to have them on your back versus hanging on your front. And if your baby is over 25 pounds or somewhere in that range, you might want to consider upgrading to the backpack style carrier like the Osprey Poco. And I've got a video on that in the card above if you want to check out that. But below that range, I would stick with the Ergo just because it's still lighter and easier to carry around and pack compared to the larger backpack. Or if your kid is a little bit older, if you have a smaller size kid than average, but they want to be up and be able to look around and see what they're doing, then you might want to look at the backpack carrier versus this one. In this one, they're going to be a little bit more tucked in, so it's going to be a little bit harder for them to look around and see. They're going to be a little bit closer to your chest or to your back, depending on how you have it positioned. All right, so let's do a quick walkthrough of how to put this thing on. First, you want to make sure all the straps are untangled, not wrapped around each other. You're going to take these 2 big hip straps here, put it right around your belly, put one across the small of your back, and then Velcro this one right across it. You want it to be comfortable but tight so that it doesn't slip off. And then you're going to raise these up. Then you're going to raise these up and wrap them around your shoulders. They should be able to go on fairly loosely there. And then usually it helps to put the baby in at this point. You might even have to take one strap off and get the baby in. I'll demonstrate that here in a second with our little one. But you can put the strap on, and then on the back there's a strap that goes across the back. Sometimes it helps to have another person buckle this for you because once the baby's in here, it can get a little bit tight. Clip that. And then this just keeps the straps from falling down off your shoulders. And then once you got the baby in there, you can wrap this around the outside and buckle this in the back, and then you can tighten that a little bit more. So that just makes sure that the Velcro won't come apart and the bottom's not going to fall out and the baby go out the bottom. And then once the baby's in there, you have this little 2 little straps here. So depending on the size of the baby, you can wrap this up and hold their head in right here. Or once they get a little bit bigger, you can drop it down, buckle it in, so their face can be facing out. The baby can face towards you or out, depending on, you know, if you want them to nap or if you want them to be able to see out. Our babies, we've had 3 babies with this, and all 3 of them, they have loved being in the Ergo, and once they get to a certain size, then they really love being able to look out and see. They still have that feeling of being held in your arms, so they feel close and they feel safe, but yet they're able to like look out and see the world, and they seem to love that. If it's nap time, you can definitely pull this little flap up right here and buckle these up on top. There's little snaps that are adjustable, cover them up, and they can have a nice little dark nap in there. All right, well, little brother was napping the other day when I was filming, so thought I'd just show you now what he looks like in the wrap. Just taking him out for a little walk here, and this guy, he's just over 1 year old, and he's a big boy. He's basically the size of a 2-year-old. He's 30 pounds and about 2.5 feet tall. So pretty tall guy, and but he still fits great in the Ergo, and he loves it, as you can tell. He's just chilling, and he'll stay in here for a long time. Still very comfortable to wear him, so clearly, like, it's a good option. You can wear your baby, your kid, for quite a long time using the Ergo. He doesn't like to be turned around as much anymore unless he's going to be napping. I'd say the only con to carrying a larger baby around in the Ergo is if you're going to be doing things where you're bending over a lot, it can become pretty hard on your back. You know, if you're like kind of doing this thing a lot, it really strains on your shoulders. But you know, as you can see, you still can. I mean, you still bend down, pick something up. He's totally secure in there. He's not going to fall out or anything, so still doable, but it definitely wears your back down a lot more compared to Osprey Poco or a different option like a backpack carrier. So that's the forward facing way. The backpack version is basically the opposite. You start with the hip, wrap it around your belly, nice and snug. Pull the straps up, make sure they're not twisted. Pull them up around the shoulders. And then this is the part that can be a little bit difficult to put the baby in. So it helps to have another person, because typically you kind of have to hold the baby here and then hold them with the other hand and then get the strap up. And it can be a little bit tricky without someone else making sure the baby stays safe there. And then once you have them up, you can also adjust the shoulder straps right here to snug them up tight, and this turns into a chest strap. And then make sure you get the one around your waist so that's not going anywhere. You're good to go. If you are planning on taking your baby hiking in one of these, I got a few quick tips for you for hiking with your baby. Number 1, balance and terrain. You know, you've got some precious cargo there, Dad. Make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew and what you're comfortable with as far as the difficulty of the trail goes. Start out slow, make sure you feel comfortable going over rocky terrain and whatnot, because it will change your center of gravity and what you're used to carrying. And I highly recommend trekking poles. I always recommend them anyway, but especially when you're hiking with your baby. And when you're carrying your baby, because it gives you that much more stability, and typically that's going to prevent you from falling and help you make sure you stay upright. Be prepared for the weather. This carrier specifically makes it very easy to kind of put a poncho on, and you could actually like put a poncho over the baby, especially if they're sleeping. If they're facing out or on your backpack, they're not going to be as happy about that, but I've definitely had a baby sleeping in the Ergo before and put a poncho on over them. You know, one of those loose fitting ones, so there's still plenty of air. They're not going to suffocate or anything like that, but that way you can still protect them from the elements if need be. Take a lot of breaks. If you're hiking with other kids, you're going to be doing this anyway, but even if you're just hiking with you and your baby, take breaks, take them out of the carrier, let them crawl around or walk around. Give them some snacks, and make sure that they have plenty of water and stay hydrated. And that goes for you as well. This carrier makes it very easy to also put a backpack on. Make sure you have a camelback or something like that so that you're able to stay hydrated and keep that baby healthy and hydrated as well. So you might be wondering, why even take a baby out hiking? That sounds hard. Why not just, stick around town or, walk around the neighborhood or something like that? But I'm here to tell you from experience, there's a lot of benefits to taking your baby out into the great outdoors. Here's just a few of them. One is it's a bonding experience, and nature offers a peaceful, serene environment where you can really disconnect and just focus on your relationship with your baby, as well as maybe your other kids and the baby's siblings. Another is sensory development, and the sights and sounds and smells of nature can really stimulate a baby's senses, and it's really good for the baby's development to experience new things like that. Another is physical fitness. Dads, you got to fight the dad bod. It's going to happen. You're going to become less active, when you have a baby, because it's harder to get out and do things. You got to make it happen. You got to get out, and you hiking with your baby is going to add that extra weight, give you that extra cardio, and help you burn some extra calories. And lastly, it is a mental health booster. Getting that fresh air, exercise, sunshine, it's definitely going to be a mood lifter for you and the baby. It's going to be well worth the time and effort to get out there and hit the trail with your baby. So that's the scoop on the Ergo, and if you want to check out my videos on the other carriers, I'll link them on the screen. But if this is helpful, share it with other adventure dads, give me a thumbs up, help us get in front of other dads so we can get out and enjoy the great outdoors with those little ones.